Welcome, guys. So if you're new to my website, my name's Lynda. I'm a yin yoga teacher and also a naturopath and nutritionist. And today I'm going to offer you a short sequence, a no fuss sequence that really helps to support digestive function and in particular constipation. So the two main organs that I'll be working on are the large intestine and its partner organ, the lungs. And so emotionally, both of these organs are related to holding on to stuff. So emotionally, but also garbage in the way of the large intestine. But also the lungs are about not being able to express yourself well or not grieving properly, if there's such a thing, not allowing yourself to grieve. So let's get straight into it. And again, use your props as much as you need. So it might look like a bolster, might look like some yoga blocks. Just adjust as you need, because that's the whole purpose of yin yoga. If you just allow the force to drop away and you just gently coax the body open, you're going to get more out of your postures. So let's start with a wide open knees, child's pose. So the knees are as wide as you can get them. You're sitting back on your heels to start with, creeping the hands forward out in front of you and just lying the chest down. We're going to be here for about 3 minutes to start with, and you can pop your chin on the mat or drop your forehead. Now in this posture, you want to make sure that you're just dripping that heart down into the mat. And all the while you're concentrating on your breath, so you're allowing your breath to be really slow, really soft. If the mind wanders, then just gently bring it back again. And the moment that you start to soften your mind and that chatter, you'll soften your breath, and vice versa. If you soften that breath, you'll also soften the mind and that chatter. And if you feel like you can go a little bit deeper in this posture, then you can open the knees a little bit wider, drop the pelvis down into the yoga mat and the chest even further. Taking your final breath here, emptying it out, and slowly bringing the palms of your hands back towards your body, bringing the knees in towards each other, and just resting the arms alongside the body, resting the forehead to the ground, and really just allowing the shoulders to drop. We're just going to be in this rest pose for a minute. And the key here with your rest poses in between your postures is that that's also almost an active movement as well. That's where the magic happens. So we have that active posture where we're sitting in a pose, and then that space in between where we're resting completely. And it's like that energy flow then moves around your body. It goes on to nourish your lungs and your large intestine in this instance. So we're going to move on to that next posture, just sliding your belly onto the ground. And we're going to start in either Sphinx or Seal, depending on where you're at with your lower back. So really just taking your time to really feel into your body, what's going on in that lower back. And the option is to widen the legs apart or bring them closer in towards each other. You can clench your butt cheeks or just relax them. I like to relax them. And so if you're in Sphinx, your elbows are on the ground, forearms are on the ground, and you're just looking forward, and we're here for about 3 minutes. Although if you feel like you can go a little bit deeper, then you can press out into the palms of your hands. Open up through the chest. Just looking out in front of you. You can start with Sphinx and then move on into Seal, just gently opening up that lower back. And our bodies are so very different. So if you've got a bit more mobility in that back, you might want to get straight into Seal. Just closing the eyes down. This is a really beautiful posture to really open up the stomach and the spleen as well. Our two other amazing organs of digestive function. This is the posture I really love doing if I've been sitting down for a long period of time. Remembering all the while to really focus on drawing in that breath slowly. And then emptying it out slowly. And you just want to spread out those fingers as well, so they're nice and apart from each other. And if it's okay on your neck, you might want to drop that head back. This can be quite strong, so really just gauge where you're at. When you're ready, slowly bringing that head up, if it's down, chin to the chest, and slowly making your way onto your forearms or straight onto your belly with your arms alongside your body. Just resting here for a minute, allowing the shoulders to drop. And you might feel a bit of vulnerability, a bit of fragileness in that lower back, and that's completely normal. In fact, that's actually a good thing. It just shows that things are moving, things are working, that energy's flowing throughout the body. Now you just want to make your way back up onto your heels. And we're going to move into shoelace, lateral shoelace. So there's a few versions of this one. I like to wrap the right leg over the left into a shoelace-like position. Just make sure that both butt cheeks are on the ground as much as you can get them. Or if you can't get your legs into this position, then the option is just to cross your legs or even open them out. So you can open them out into a dragonfly kind of position. But let's go with the shoelace if you can get it into that position there. So wrapping that right leg over the left, separating the butt cheeks, palm of the hand presses down onto the right, and then you can go down onto your elbow if you like, opening up through that side body. Option is to bring that left arm overhead, or you can bring it around behind you. And just let your head either look down towards the ground or up towards the ceiling. And we're here for 3 minutes, so you might want to alternate. If your neck gets really sore, then you can bring it down. Whilst this posture is a bit challenging for the neck, I love how it feels on that left side of the body. So really opening up that rib cage area, the lungs, improving our ability to really express well, to grieve if we need to. And slowly, slowly opening up. The key is to never force anything. You get the most out of it if you just slowly open up. You're slowly opening up that fascia, and the fascia is like the cling wrap that surrounds our organs, our spine. It tends to get quite sticky overnight. So we're just loosening up. And the option is also, if your head gets sore, to pop your hand up. So you've almost got a resting position for your head. So check in with your breath. What's it doing as it becomes shallow? Can you deepen it a little? And if the mind constantly wanders, keep going back to that point in between your brow. Keep looking at that point in between your brow. And taking one last breath here. Emptying it out. And slowly unraveling. Extending both legs out in front of you and giving them a little bit of a shake. Might be a bit challenging on your hips as well. Straight on into the other side. So wrapping that left leg over the right. Again, every side might be different. So you might actually need to be in a cross-legged position or even open wide legs in this side. So just because you can get into a posture on the right doesn't mean that the left will be completely the same. So again, just testing, seeing where you're at. Placing that left hand down onto the mat, coming down onto your elbows, hand overhead or behind you. Just letting the face naturally drop either to the ground or up towards the ceiling. It's quite funny, this posture for me. I find it to be really strong, opening up through the ribs. Particularly if I've been sitting down for a long time or the day hasn't consisted of much movement. So I love doing this posture. It just really feels like it's just getting in there, creating space. And again, the option is to place the head onto your hand. Checking in with that breath, what's going on. Bringing oxygen, bringing energy into the lung space. And when you're ready, taking one last breath here, emptying it out. Slowly bringing that hand down. And making your way back up. Extending out through the legs in front of you, giving them a shake. And then making your way onto your back for our rest posture. So just allowing the feet to flop to either side of the room, the shoulders to drop, any tension in the pelvis to just melt away. Before we get too comfortable, bringing the legs up into a squat-like position on your back. So the knees are sort of alongside the chest. And we're just grabbing the sole of the foot with our hands and drawing the knees alongside the chest, down the body. Closing the eyes down, trying to keep the tailbone glued to the earth. Now you're not going to get the entire tailbone down. As much as possible, just lengthening out through the spine, dropping the tailbone, dropping the knees, slowly opening up. This is a challenging posture, this one. So we're only going to stay in it for 3 minutes, but you are more than welcome to pause the tape and stay in it for longer. So if you get a few gurgles of the belly and bowel sounds, completely normal. Just let them happen. Don't restrict anything. So if you're struggling to get into a meditation practice, you can use yin as almost a meditation, because you can sit in silence for 5 minutes whilst functionally moving your body. I know that this works for me more so than sitting in a meditation for an hour. Somehow my mind quietens a little bit easier in a yin practice. Not to mention my organs get nourished along the way. And over time in Happy Baby, you might find that you could slowly drop the knees down further. Every day can be completely different too. So some days you might feel a little bit tighter than normal, so you might need to back off a little bit or use your props. Taking one last breath here. Emptying it out. Slowly bringing the knees in towards each other, giving them a little bit of a hug. And then dropping the soles down onto the earth and dropping the knees in towards each other and just resting here for a minute. If you feel compelled to, maybe you want to pop a hand, say on your heart or on your belly, or wherever you want to draw energy to. And hey, if it doesn't feel good when you pop them there, leave them, take them off. You're not stuck. It's a very fluid practice. And when you're ready, just extending the legs out, rolling over to the side, making your way up into a seat. And now we're going to move into caterpillar. You can also do snail, which is a plow posture, legs overhead. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to move into caterpillar. So your butt cheeks are firmly planted on the earth. And then leading with the chest, the pelvis, we're going to drop our body forward. I like to use the backs of my hands to pop alongside my legs rather than palms down, because it reminds me just to slowly open up and not to grip, not to force. And then you just drop your head wherever it will fall. Now, if this proves to be a bit difficult, the option is to use a bolster. So popping a bolster in between your legs and your forehead and just folding forward. And this could be it. This could be as far as your back and body will allow you to go. And that's absolutely fine. So we're here for about 5 minutes. I personally like to sit in caterpillar for longer than that. Sometimes 7 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes. It's one of my favorite postures of all time. And geez, it can be a bit challenging on those hamstrings sometimes. So just dropping the head down, allowing the feet to be a bit floppy. You're not needing to pull them back or anything like that. And over time, say a minute into it, you might want to spread the legs open a little bit and allow the chest to drop even further, if your body allows for that. So what we do is we sit in our posture, and about 30 seconds to 60 seconds in, we just gauge where we're at. And we might go to that second point where we drop a little bit deeper into the posture, or we might need to back off. And then again, after another minute, you might check in again. Can I go a little bit deeper? Or do I just need to remain still? Such a beautiful posture to open up the back of the body, so the lung area. Also compresses the abdomen, so the digestive system, it compresses and stimulates those organs.
almost as if we're giving them a bit of a rinse out. Giving them a bit of a nudge. Taking your final breath here. Emptying it out. And slowly, slowly bringing the body back up into center. And slowly making your way down onto your back. Allowing the shoulders to release any tension that may be held there, and the pelvic region just to slowly melt into the mat. Let the feet flop. We're only here for a minute. Not quite Shavasana yet. Now is not a good time to restrict your breath during the rest phase, because again, that's when that energy flows, that's when the organs get nourished. That's when the juice is delivered to those organs just to improve their health. Now moving into our final posture, which is twisted roots. So, I'm going to start with that right leg. I'm going to bring it over the left. You can wrap it around the left leg if you like, or just dropping it over to the left. And I like to have my hands in cactus. And what you want to do is you want to shift that left leg underneath so that you can bring that right thigh over to the left. And you might need to actually pop a bolster underneath that knee, just so it's not hanging in space. Now, if it's comfortable hanging in space, then you can leave it like that. Otherwise, just resting in twisted roots. Looking over your right shoulder. Opening up through that lower back. Twisting and rinsing out through the spine. A spine that supports our entire body and all the organs that sort of run through it. And we're going to be here for 3 minutes. And again, you are more than welcome to stay in any of these postures for longer, if you choose. So taking your last breath in, clearing it out. And slowly bringing that right leg back into center. Just pausing in the center for the moment. And then that left knee goes up. We shift our body to the left. And then just drop that left leg over to the right. And again, you can pop your bolster underneath here. So it's between the knee and the ground. If it's just sort of hanging in space really uncomfortably and you feel like your muscles are just clinging on for dear life. Otherwise, just letting it hang and looking over that left shoulder. And we're here again for 3 minutes. Twisting and rinsing out that spine. Taking your final breath here. Emptying it out. Slowly bringing that left leg back to center. Bringing the arms alongside the body for our final posture, which is Shavasana. Just really allowing the back of the head to become heavy, the forehead to become heavy. Softening the back muscles. Softening the pelvic region. Softening your breath. Feel free to pause the tape and stay here for a little bit longer. Let the stomach gurgle. And taking, for the rest of us, taking one last breath here. And a slow exhale. And when you're ready, just bringing your knees up. Dropping them to the right. And just resting here for a moment. One of my favorite postures. And then making your way up into a seat. Taking a moment just to place one hand on the heart, one on the belly, or just below, to that energy center we call the dantian. And we're just going to take 3 breaths in and out here. So taking one breath in, pausing at the top for a moment, and then emptying it out.
Taking one breath here. And then letting it go. And taking your final breath in. And then emptying it out. There you have it. Namaste. Thanks for joining me. Let me know what you think. Let me know what other sequences you would like to do or for me to do for you. Would love to hear.